So, the Betway Cup, what did I make of that? It was interesting. I don't care about the penalties. I don't care about the result. Great, look, we won it, brilliant. I treat it about as enthusiastically as Jarrod Bowen did when he lifted the trophy. It doesn't matter. It's not important. What is important is an insight into what we think Lopetegui is going to do this season and a chance to see some more of the players. I think there's some really, really good things, to marvel at, actually, and so some things to be, slightly concerned about. But overall, yeah, I thought it was very, very positive. First half was considerably better than the second half. You would expect that, and I think we might be a little bit behind on our fitness. But again, I would sort of expect that. There's still another week to go, let's not forget. But I do wonder if we might have been better off starting to play something closer to our first team 11 against Crystal Palace than we did. It was still playing a lot of players that basically aren't going to feature for West Ham. But first of all, I've got to say, I'll go through the players in order, but I've got to start with Lucas Paquetá. I really do. He was absolutely pivotal. During the game, we did a build-up show, and myself and Gio and Nick, we discussed that actually what we'd like to see. Well, actually, to be fair, Nick said he wanted to see Paquetá in the middle. Myself and Gio said we wanted to see him on the left. It turns out, I think Nick's right. I don't think there's any other way to do it now. If he's going to start playing like that, that's where he has to play. Now, I do think you lose a little bit on Kudus for him playing out on the left. But what you get from Paqueta, in fact, never mind Paqueta, it was full on Paquetá. Incredible passing range. The first goal was sensational. You'd have all seen it by now. Dinked the ball over to the top. Bowen controlled it. Beautiful first touch. I mean, let's be fair, he's got that in his locker now, isn't he? Bowen's in for a really, really good season. But the ball, the vision from Paquetá, it wasn't the only time he did it. He was doing it all game. Scored a goal himself. A great goal. Now, yes, pre-season friendly, so on and so forth. Don't worry about it. He'll do it. He'll do it for real. He'll do it in a competitive game. And the goal, the dinked ball over the top, that'll happen in a competitive game as well. So yes, today it was a friendly. Oh, sorry, today I'm recording it today. You'll be watching it tomorrow. I've just done the Wan-Bissaka video, which is my Saturday video. So this will be Sunday video. Incredible range of passing, incredible vision. The system suits him. The manager suits him. The style of play suits him. There's absolutely no doubt about it. To talk about Bowen and to talk about Kudus, actually, I know I said I'd go through the players in order. Maybe I will. I'll start from the front and go back. Bowen's going to get goals this season. I know it's easy to say he'll always get goals. He's more of an inside forward. He's going to be closer to the goal than he was. In many respects, Bowen was more of an inside forward, and if anything, I thought Kudus was wider left. I actually thought Kudus looked a little bit tired, truth be known. But he was still on the cusp, very close to doing the spectacular. I suspect he's going to be brilliant again. It really is. And he'll get his chance, even if that's how we start. Basically how we lined up with Paqueta in the middle, Kudus on the left, Bowen on the right. Even if that's how we start, he'll get his chances in the middle and on the right. I've no doubt about that at all. Bowen being made captain, okay, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. We'll discuss more of that once it becomes evident that that's the case. But I think it would appear to be so. He's sort of becoming Mr. West Ham, Bowen. He really is. I guess he is a legend, but sometimes people have got to leave and depart or retire for them to be that, and that may well be the case with Bowen. But what we are witnessing here, him becoming captain, his goal-scoring record, his obviously the goal that won us the trophy in the Conference League final. We are witnessing the making of a West Ham legend. We're living it. We're living it right now. Enjoy it. Enjoy Jarrod Bowen now, because there will be a point when you will look back on it and be talking about quite how good this player was. But Paquetá, just wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Unplayable. He is going to be an absolute menace this season. I think the attack is going to look scintillating. Mikel Antonio started up front on his own. Well, he wasn't on his own. There's no on his own. There's no on his own. He was close. He has people close to him. If people were to ask you, what's the difference, that would be one of them. One of the key differences is I rarely looked at Antonio and thought he's isolated. That wasn't really the case there at all. I thought he played well. I did. I thought he was decent enough. In fact, I would suggest Antonio was better than Füllkrug, who come on in the second half. But all I would say is we were better in the first half. So and they are different. They are different players. We are definitely going to have to adapt our style of play when each one is on the pitch. And to be fair, Vladimir Coufal did put a lovely ball over for Füllkrug later on in the game, which I don't know, maybe it was a little bit too low for him or he didn't quite get it. Whatever it was, I thought it was the type of ball that's going to be meat and drink for him. Central midfield, what have we got to say about that? Souček and Huito Rodriguez. Rodders, Dave. I liked him. I did. He didn't play the whole game. Well, clearly, I think you can pretty much say that now that he didn't play the whole game because he started against Aston Villa. I really liked what I saw. Positionally, very, very shrewd, very wise. In many respects, you look at it. Look, he was at Real Betis last season. We couldn't have got him. But when you look back and you think what David Moyes wanted to do when he brought in Calvin Phillips, he wanted someone to basically cover off Edson Alvarez. This guy does that. I mean, it may well be that he starts, but he's good. I mean, an immediately good quality player into our squad. Very good. Souček, he did okay. But he just can't play in this system. Not to the same extent that everybody else can. There were some really nice, neat interchanges of passing between players. Really, really good stuff. He can't join in. It takes him a millisecond. He's not got the eyes in the back of his head. And there are a number of reasons why to play Souček. One of them would be to be a menace and to be a goal threat in the box. It's not really happening in the system for him. And the other one is when the opposition are getting tons and tons and tons of crosses, you want someone to stand there next to the centre halves. He's not going to be asked to do that under Lopetegui. So I think his two main attributes, his two main benefits to having Souček are sort of null and void. I thought Mavropanos was okay, by the way. I thought he was okay. Obviously pressure on him because Todibo signed. I thought Kilman, I thought he was unlucky with the ricochet. I'm expecting some quite exciting stuff with him and Todibo launching long balls. We're going to do a lot of that. We are going to pass it. There's going to be some beautiful passing, but we're going to go direct sometimes. And I don't have a problem with direct, by the way. And if anyone, people will turn around, there'll be times we'll go direct this season and people will turn around and say, well, that's what David Moyes is doing. No. There were as you know, there were basically the times of David Moyes we were just getting thrashed. We were just sitting back, not attacking at all and just getting thrashed. We're going to mix up our attack. We're going to go long, we're going to go short, we're going to cross it over. We're going to sometimes have lots more possession than the opposition. Sometimes we're going to press from the front. I quite like the pressing. There was a lot to like about this performance. Emerson, I thought he was good, joining up. The one-touch passing, he was a big part of that as well. I thought Ward-Prowse was decent when he came on. I thought Coufal was a bit unlucky with the goal, but and I thought this was his best game. This was Coufal's best game in pre-season. But I didn't see anything that would keep Wan-Bissaka out of the team when he joins. There's something weird happens between now, which is like 6 o'clock in the evening, and when I release this video. So please excuse me, I am recording this video early. So I wanted to do the whole game while it's still fresh in my mind. And the goalkeeper got switched at half time. Fabianski is not the first choice goalkeeper. He's just not. He's just not smart enough for his distribution. He's trying and he's improving. But Areola's much better, much quicker. He sees it. It's all very well coaching someone to throw it out. And I think there's an instruction on Fabianski that he has to do that. That's very different to someone having the vision and seeing it themselves. And I think that's the difference between the two keepers. Areola can very much see it himself. Nigel Gerd. Let's have a little chat about Nigel Gerd, shall we? He came on and... There are times when I look at him, I think, oh, this guy's going to suit Lopetegui's system. But I also, and I thought that for quite some time, and, you know, if you've been watching the channel for a long time, you'll know. When Gerd used to struggle, I used to say to Gio, maybe in the reviews, I would say, I just wonder if I think Agurd's a good defender. I think he's got a lot of qualities. Maybe he just would be better in a ball-playing team. Maybe he's just asked to do too much defending under David Moyes. Too much, letting the opposition have 70% of the possession, constantly battering us, is not doing us any favours. And I honestly, I genuinely thought that. I'm not so sure anymore. I think being in the Lopetegui team allows him to be too indulgent. I'd absolutely blame him for the second goal that we conceded. It's almost you've encouraged him to dwell too much on the ball, to do too much. You can be as tricky as you want. It's not really what it's about. It's about being comfortable on the ball. It's about distributing it well. As I say, a little bit too overindulgent. I just can't see him. If I was looking at it on today's performance, obviously it would be Todibo and Kilman would be the partnership. I would probably, on today's performance, be looking at actually putting Mavropanos in there as the next one, as the third choice, as it were. Obviously, Zuma, we know, is going. The other thing I thought was quite noticeable about the game is, so lots of positives. I like the attacking setup. I like the attacking patterns. I like the one-touch passing. Somerville. So we'll deal with him in a second. We're going to need to sort something out with crosses coming in from wide. I think we need to get to our man a little bit quicker on that. Otherwise, it's going to be... I don't think we're going to concede as many goals we conceded last season, but if we don't sort that out, we're still going to concede goals. And we'll do better than last season, just purely because we'll concede less and we'll score the same amount or more. So it's going to result in more points. I'm quite clear about that. And the team will get better. We will get better. They're a bunch of strangers, a lot of them. The first starting 11 will be unrecognisable from the starting 11 that finished last season. Somerville, let's just deal with him. Because Earthy came on, neat and tidy. I'm missing anyone? I hope I'm not missing. Oh, Guilherme came on very, very late, but he was given 2 or 3 minutes. Obviously scored a penalty. Somerville, I like it. I like what I see. I really like what I see. We got a glimmer again. I think the fatigue levels had dipped somewhat by the time he came on. I think you'd have seen something a little bit more exciting had he started the game. I suspect he is the player that Saïd Benrahma should have been. Little bit sharper, a little bit faster. He's slight, he's small. He's going to knocks off the ball, but he's going to win some free kicks as well. And I think I would not be surprised if when he starts games, he has opposition players on bookings very, very early. I like him. I like what I've seen. All in all, I was really pleased. I now feel after that Celta Vigo game, I know what to expect more of Aston Villa in terms of the way we're going to play. We're going to be a good team. We're going to be a good team. We are. You're still going to have the top 6 and all the rest of it. But I think we're going to be up there. And I don't think we're going to be looking and I think there's any reason for us to be fearful of other teams now. I bet we'll go and turn some teams over. Obviously, I wouldn't be surprised if we turn a big team or two over this season. And I know we sort of been doing that under Moyes anyway, like beat Arsenal last season, etc. But I don't feel we're going to go in petrified against teams, and I think we're going to try and back ourselves, going to have confidence. And looking at it in terms of Paqueta, Bowen, and Kudus, we have incredible attacking talents. Of course, we had all those players last season, but what they have now is they have a licence, they have a platform, they have players in support, and they're all far closer to Antonio, which is going to make it really, really difficult for opposition defences. They really are going to find it difficult. We'll be overloading opposition defences quite a lot. It's definitely going to be interesting what happens in the centre forward position. I'm not, but I mentioned that. I said that as soon as we signed Fulkrug, I said Antonio will fancy this now. £50 million player, Antonio wouldn't really have a chance of keeping him out. Antonio will fancy keeping Fulkrug out for a little bit, no doubt about it. Not read anything into Fulkrug's penalty. Unlucky, never mind. I'm really hoping he's going to be a good player for West Ham. But on today's evidence, I would suspect that it'd be Antonio that starts against Aston Villa. And rightly so. Make no mistake about it. I don't think it's going to deviate the Aston Villa lineup that much from what we saw. I think you'll see Wan-Bissaka come in. I think you'll see Todibo coming in. Maybe Soufal starts. Maybe. And I think you'll probably see Rodriguez in central midfield alongside James Ward-Prowse. Anyway, exciting times. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. For me, Paqueta, absolutely outstanding. It was the right thing to get him off. He's gonna be right trouble. First game of the season for Aston Villa.